4-7 on the season. We mentioned the Braves are 4-11. One of the reasons they are not scoring many runs at all. Ozzie Albies, Austin Riley, Matt Olson, Sean Murphy. There's danger up top, but Ronald Acuna is still coming back from a torn ACL. He's a few weeks away, and we found out about an hour ago Marcell Ozuna is scratched for the series. Tweaked something in his leg running out a ground ball yesterday. That takes a big power bat out of the middle of the Atlanta lineup. One less guy for Easton Lucas to worry about.
And Lucas making just his third big league start. His 2 big league starts this season are coming after 14 relief appearances over the last couple of seasons. He pitched into the 6th inning at Fenway Park. We just saw some of those clips. Struck out 8 Red Sox again. Did not allow a run, and it's that deceptively smooth delivery, I think, that allows that fastball to really get on hitters. And Red Sox hitters were just late, and I thought the way he coupled that fastball with his changeup worked perfectly against the Nationals in his first start, and he was able to use both breaking balls against the Red Sox. Defensively behind Lucas in left field, making his 9th outfield start, Alan Roden. He's made 4 in right field as well. Myles Straw and Nathan Lucas, his first start in right field. He started 7 times in center. Clemente Bichette on the left side, and a lot of gold on the right side. Andres Gimenez and Vladimir Guerrero Jr. and Tyler Heineman back there for the 3rd straight time catching the left-hander. He's done a fantastic job in every start behind the plate.
Blue Jays were in a pretty good mood after they pulled out that win last night. Got 3 in the 8th, 1 in the 10th to win it. 7-6 in Baltimore, so they're 2 games over 500 as this one gets going tonight. And it gets going with Ozzie Albies skying one near third base. In comes Ernie Clement. Man, oh man, has a pop-up ever been up in the air longer than that one? 1 pitch, 1 out.
And there he is at it early. First pitch fastball, pounding that zone, and Albies was up there hacking.
You talked about the smooth delivery, and it's something that Pete Walker and a company identified right away. And, you know, this is not a statement you can quantify, but the feeling within the organization was he looks like a starter. It's repeatable, it's smooth, and they have decided they want him to be a starter. Even if Max Scherzer comes back, John Schneider said they'd rather have him starting in Buffalo than relieving here. They want the option of this guy being fully stretched out all season long.
And he is doing a good job of that through 2 starts.
Another pop-up. This one will get out of play, and it's 0-2. Scherzer, by the way, since we mentioned his name, is not with the team. He is at home in Florida right now. John Schneider told us before the game, taking care of some personal business, still feeling some discomfort in the thumb, and is scheduled to go to Pennsylvania to meet with the doctor that he saw, I guess about 10 days ago now, to meet with him for a 2nd time. So, Joe, they're still trying to get to the bottom of it.
Yeah, certainly not encouraging news when you still hear that there is still soreness in that thumb. But for Easton Lucas, what an opportunity he has taken right now and trying to run with it.
Ahead of Austin Riley, a ball and 2 strikes. And a ground ball to short. Up with it, Bichette. And on to Guerrero for out number 2.
Strikes, strikes, and more strikes. We talked about the fastball and filling the zone with it. And that's what really helps, because hitters know that the heater's going to be in the zone, so they're getting in swing mode. And then you can drop that hard slider in there. You can mix in the changeup, and he's used both effectively so far.
Atlanta coming into the game 26th out of 30 teams in runs per game. It's hard to believe when you see some of the names that they've got in this lineup. But again, they're down Acuna. Ozuna is out tonight. And some of these guys, like a Matt Olson, who's in the box right now, put up huge numbers for Brian Snitker a couple of years ago. But they took a step back last year, had some injuries, and a number of them are off to slow starts again this season.
Think of that season they had to go through last year, dealing with injuries all season long, and they were able to seal a playoff spot on the last day of the season, but then were swept out of that wild card round by the Padres.
That's the sweeper there from Lucas, missing down and away, and it's 2-1 on Olson.
2 breaking balls. The slider will be harder, around 87, then the sweeper will be in the lower 80s. Fastball averaging about 93, but we've seen him touch 95 already, and of course the changeup.
Tried the sweeper again, but he missed high, so he's fallen behind 3-1. Olson, an Atlanta native, acquired a few years ago from Oakland, then almost immediately signed to a long deal. Fastball in there, 3-2. It's a nice, easy 94, isn't it?
It is, and when you say easy, what it is to the hitter, it's deceptive because you see the slow delivery, but then the fastball, it has that extra gear. It's got that good carry. You can't really teach it, I don't think. You try to stay behind the ball as good as you can.
Went to the slider, but he missed high, and a 2-out walk to Olson. Pete Walker very excited about what Easton Lucas is, and it might continue to be. Let's see how he deals with Sean Murphy, the catcher for the Braves. Suffered a cracked rib in spring training, so he got a late start to the year. He's only played in 5 games, and he's hit 3 home runs. He's out in front of this one as he pulls it foul. Sean Murphy, another former Oakland A, like Matt Olson. 3rd year with Atlanta after 4 years with the A's. He's won a Gold Glove. He's been an All-Star. And he hits this one high and deep, left center field, and it's going to get out of here about 8 rows deep. Sean Murphy with his 4th home run in 6 games, and it's 2-0 Atlanta.
Oh, he's out front of that first breaking pitch that Lucas offered. It was the slower sweeper, and he was right on this one. You can see it looked like a changeup on the outside part of the plate there, and he stayed on it and covered it. Ideally, you want that pitch a little bit lower. As long as it's up above about thigh high there, that's a ball that a right-hand hitter can still cover and drive.
So the Braves jump out early. They're coming here from Tampa. They lost 2 out of 3 to the Rays. Were beaten 8-3 yesterday. And again, just 4-11 on the season. Already 6 games out of the National League East, but they're up 2-0 early. Brian De La Cruz is the batter. He went around, and the home plate umpire Ben May says it's 0-2 now on De La Cruz. The DH was non-tendered by the Pirates at the end of last year, signed by the Braves. And they're a little bit thin in the outfield right now. One reason is they don't have Jurickson Profar, who was suspended for 80 games for a positive PED test. So Brian Snitker's team lost a guy they thought was going to be a real mainstay for them just before the season began. So they are anxiously awaiting the return of Ronald Acuna Jr. How about Acuna has torn both of his ACLs in his career.
Well, and they lost him for the better part of last season too, and that's just it's hard to do without it. But Snitker said toward the end of the season, we've got to keep chugging along, and that's what they did. It doesn't take just 1 or 2 players. Now I think Easton Lucas too, you got to be careful. We just talked so much about his fastball. You don't want to get away from that pitch, and I feel like already in this first inning from that Olson plate appearance, he's starting to get a little bit away from the heater.
The 2-2 to De La Cruz. Line to center field. Straws there. That was the heater, and that's out number 3. But the Braves get a home run from Murphy to take it 2-2.
We saw him lead off some games in Baltimore on the weekend, teeing off on stuff.
He's hitting the ball hard. A lot of line drives. This is a ground ball out to short, and that is Nick Allen to make the play. 1 down.
First baseman, number 27, Vladimir Guerrero Jr.
And I think just about everybody in the ballpark today knows the news. They're glad that he's staying home. They're glad he is staying home, and you know, he's been in the order, and he appreciates it. You know, it's an enormous contract. It's one he presumably could not refuse, obviously, given the amount. But his heart is also here. Both things can be true.
He used the word family several times today. And that's what he feels like this organization is, these fans are, and this country is.
And speaking of family, he had a lot of his real family, his actual family, in the room with him today when the contract was signed. Holmes jumps out in front 0-2. Glad he disagrees, but it looked like it had the inside corner.
Maybe he's just saying that's not the pitch I was looking for.
To center field, hit fairly well, but caught out on the track. Michael Harris the second, just a few feet shy of the wall. And he pulled it a little bit. It had a chance.
Most hitters will know, and I'm sure Vladdy knows right when it left his bat. It was a hanging slider up in the top of the zone and just did not quite square it up.
So 2 down, and here's Santander. As mentioned, the first home run of the season for him came Saturday in Baltimore. He's got 8 games in his career against Atlanta. He's hit 4 home runs in those games. Switch hitter batting for the left side. They're really playing him to pull on the infield, and even a little bit so in the outfield. That's a foul ball off his foot, and it's 0-2.
Holmes will average around 95 with that fastball. He's got the curveball, slider, changeup, and cutter, but it's predominantly four-seam fastball and slider to righties, and the four-seam fastball and the curveball to lefties. He'll mix in a cutter like we just saw right there running in on his hands.
Santander trying to walk it off. This one still stings.
Oftentimes pitchers that have a slider, traditional slider and curveball, the curveball will be used more against the lefties, slower breaking down, and the slider, the harder pitch, will be diving down away from righties more.
The 0-2 grounded to the right side. Albies has it, and the Blue Jays go in order in the bottom of the first. 2-0 Atlanta, but a nice moment. The big ovation for Guerrero when he came to the plate, and you can see what it meant to him.
Breaking news, and a surprise contender in the marathon.
Yes, Rachel, someone has caught up to the front. He's carrying a fridge.
Something remarkable has just happened.
Talk about keeping your eye on the ball.
What's happening courtside?
From half court, he got it!
I can't believe what I'm seeing. Over to baseball. Bridgman's gonna win.
There's no way. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365.
We're the Wheelers, and we love hockey.
There it is, kids.
Nice one. We love traveling for games, which is why we love Skyscanner.
Saves us 30% on average when we compare flights and rental cars. Ain't that right, babe?
Oh, yeah.
If Mumsy keeps sniping sweet deals on Skyscanner, we might be able to finally grow those playoff beards.
Oh, no. But yes.
Someone say playoff beards?
Sweet lettuce, Doug.
Nice lettuce, Dad.
Sweet lettuce, Kenzie.
Sweet flow, Dad.
I'm back, baby.
Welcome back to Rogers Center. In Vladimir Guerrero Jr.'s eyes, there was only one dream, one contract outcome, and that was to be a Blue Jay for life. So this afternoon, as you heard Dan and Joe talk about, in a packed room with family, friends, and teammates, Guerrero put pen to paper, inking his place forever in a city and country that means the world to him. Guerrero joins a very special group along with notable Hall of Famers Tony Gwynn, Cal Ripken, Derek Jeter, all of whom played for one organization their entire careers. President Mark Shapiro said Guerrero has a chance to impact Canadian sports as well as Blue Jays history with this historic deal. Now, some of Guerrero's teammates were in attendance in a heartfelt show of support, as well as the man whose financial investment made this day a reality, Mr. Edward Rogers, who said, "I think his best years are yet to come." Dan.
Hazel, thank you. And speaking of Ross Atkins, he's going to join us here in the booth bottom half of this inning to talk about this monumental deal between Guerrero and the ball club. 2-0 Atlanta, top 2. This is Michael Harris II, the center fielder for the Braves. He'll take that one just a little bit low from Lucas, and it's 1-1. Harris, a former National League Rookie of the Year. That was back in 2022, but that was his best season. The numbers have declined each year since. This Atlanta team 2 years ago scored 947 runs with a lot of the same cast of characters that they've got now. To put that in context, the 2021 Blue Jays, remember that team? Dunedin, Buffalo, Toronto Blue Jays, Vladdy 48 homers, Marcus Semien on the team, et cetera, et cetera. They scored 846. Brian Snitker's team 2 years ago scored 100 more runs than the 2021 Blue Jays did. That is a monster offensive team, but they just haven't been able to get anywhere near that since.
You got to believe that some of these guys will be coming, and I think especially when you look at what Matt Olson is capable of doing, Austin Riley, the two cornermen in the infield, and of course Ozuna. They'd like him to repeat his performance from last year, but the Blue Jays will miss him this series now.
Full count now on Harris.
I'm sure Snitker can't wait to get Acuna back. That will help the offense, but also losing your leadoff hitter Jurickson Profar, I thought was a nice sign by the Braves to fill that leadoff spot at least until Acuna got back, and now he, after suspension, is out.
Fastball popped up, third base side in foul territory, and well back into the seats.
You take Max Fried out of the Atlanta Braves rotation along with Charlie Morton, and you really didn't replace those guys. Now you're hoping guys come and help out, but there are holes to fill.
That's outside, ball 4, the second walk given up by Lucas. So the leadoff man aboard here in the top of the second, and now it's going to be Stuart Fairchild, the right fielder tonight. Fairchild was claimed from Cincinnati on March the 31st. This is his 15. Diamondbacks, Mariners, Giants, Reds, and now Braves. There's a tailor-made double play ball to Ernie Clement at third, and the Blue Jays turn it.
That is textbook when you look up double play in the dictionary. Good changeup, and you see it goes down in the zone. The hitter is out front, rolls it over, catches the top of the baseball, and hits it right to Clement, and it doesn't get any easier than that for Jimenez. Beautiful turn to the second base bag.
So 2 down and the base is empty just like that. Here's Nick Allen, the shortstop, getting the lion's share of the playing time at short right now. Orlando Arcia didn't have a good year last year, off to a slow start this year, and Allen has now started 8 of the last 11 games. Popped up, and it looks like it's playable in foul territory. It's been a busy night early here for Clement. He'll make the catch in a much cleaner inning for Easton Lucas. We'll talk Vladimir Guerrero Jr. with Ross Atkins when we come back for the bottom half.
Tomorrow,
the Blue Jays are back home.
Oh my! Can the Jays hurlers tame the Braves bats? Braves, Blue Jays, tomorrow on Sportsnet.
Tell me everything. I don't think you understand. People need a hero.
Prepare yourself for the new Hot Honey Sandwich from Mary Brown's Chicken. Our 100% Canadian chicken breast, smothered in sweet, spicy hot honey sauce, and fully loaded with tangy Monterey Jack and crispy jalapeno bits. Try the new Hot Honey Sandwich from Mary Brown's Chicken. We dare you. Daredevil Born Again, now streaming on Disney+. Crave Canadian.
And booked. Plus, we got free checked bags with my TD Aeroplan Visa Infinite card.
Everything's better when you save on a vacation.
More like a save-cation. That's good.
Oh, yeah. TD. Ready for you.
You make it through security so fast, the agents applaud. Your travel itineraries are so well written, they're on the bestseller list. And you have access to lounges that don't officially exist. That's why you rent with National, where you can skip the counter and choose any vehicle on the Emerald Isle. Because travel isn't a competition, except that it is. And you're winning.
Golden Knights, Canucks, Wednesday on Sportsnet 360 and Sportsnet Pacific.
Bottom of the second, welcome back to the Rogers Center. Dan Shulman, Joe Siddall, and as promised, the Executive Vice President and General Manager of the team, Ross Atkins. I think we put you in the lower chair.
Yeah.
Is that okay? It's fine. You can try to. I have no idea how to fix that. You can. Congratulations. Obviously a monumental day. It's not every day that a franchise player signs a deal for 14 years and $500 million. What you were in the room at the time. What was going through your mind as all that was going on?
Yeah, it's just so great for the city, for the organization, for a player that began his career here, now will definitely finish it here. I think of all the coaches and scouts that have impacted him over his career, and man, it's a special time for the fans and for Vladdy. It's a very special day.
Ross, how important is it to have a guy like Vladdy? And we hear the term face of the franchise, and right now I think we'd all agree that he is. But is that the building point? Because there's still more besides the one player in baseball, of course.
Yeah, I think we've been fortunate to have he and Bo and George and Jose and Kirky and a good group together for adding Gausman and Chris Bassett to that group, and now bringing Anthony Santander and Andres Jimenez into the mix. But having a player that started his career here and will end it here in this city and country means so much to him, will definitely have an impact on that environment.
Ross, I'm sure there were moments you felt this was going in the right direction and maybe moments where you felt it wasn't. Were you always confident that this deal would get done?
Yeah, I think it was above the line of more optimistic, but the stakes are so high that you have to caution yourself to make sure that that you aren't resting on that by any means. So but because of his love for the team, for the city, for the country and the Jays, I did feel some level of optimism. Andres
Jimenez flies out to right field, and Vladdy was fairly involved in the process, right? I mean, he was in on a lot of the discussions, present, and I mean, he knew what was going on the whole time, right?
Yeah, he was incredible. I was so impressed by how poised he was throughout. Incredibly respectful, really relaxed in all of our interactions. We talked about it, just making sure that he understood where we were coming from in our approach as we tried to find ways to close gaps.
A nice play made down the line in foul territory by Matt Olson. Ernie Clement is retired. 2 down. Joe?
Is there a sense of relief when something like this is done, as great as it is for the organization, for you as executives moving forward?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, any time you can move on to the next contract, the next acquisition, the next way to deploy our team better in a more significant way is definitely a positive.
2-0 Atlanta, bottom of the second. Alan Roden is the batter. To see some teammates in the room and his family in the room, and we were talking earlier, we thought Vladdy was incredibly sincere and genuine and appreciative today. Good day for the franchise.
Yeah, I felt that too. He's a warm person in general, and that warmth shined through today and over the last week. Really, he's really handled it well. The expectations and all of the talk about this potential deal happening, he did do a really good job of managing his emotion throughout. I can't even imagine what that must be like for a 26-year-old.
How do you feel about where the team's at 16 games into the season?
Yeah, good. We've thrown the ball well. We've made good contact. We're going to start to put the ball over the fence here eventually, and the defense has been steady. But the biggest thing is just you can't ever really. We thought we had a solid environment over the last couple years. It just feels better this year. It's been building and growing, and these guys, when they, everyone always talks about winning, everyone always talks about chemistry, and when that level of detail elevates around how and why, you really feel it.
Congrats again on getting this big deal done. Blue Jays Nation is very happy about it. Thanks for joining us.
All right, Dan. Thank you. Thanks, Joe.
And booked. Plus, we got free checked bags with my TD Aeroplan Visa Infinite card.
Everything's better when you save on a vacation.
More like a save-cation. That's good.
Oh, yeah. TD. Ready for you.
Come on, Rover. Come on. Rover, I said go. Silly dog. Red Bull gives you wings.
expo. I'ma do me, so you do you. Tell us something now. Go ahead and do what you want. Don't play around. Go ahead and do what you want.
I spend a lot of time here in Toronto and Canada, you know, and when the country give you love, you gotta give you the love back, you know, and that's what I'm doing right now, giving all the love they give it to me.
And speaking of giving some love back to fans here in Toronto and across Canada, spending some time signing some signs before the game, which, by the way, and you see it and I see it, he does a lot of that. That's not a today thing. Guerrero is terrific with that kind of thing. You know, if Vlad Sr. hadn't been an Expo, would today be happening with this, or would he be in some other, would Junior be in some other city signing this deal? We'll never know, and it doesn't matter, but 14 more years after this one. He signed as a 16-year-old. This contract will take him until he is 40. Think about that. Lined into right center, Eli White gets the third started for the Braves, sending one all the way to the fence, and he's aboard with a leadoff double.
Well, when you're hitting at the bottom of the lineup, Eli White getting the start for Atlanta with Marcell Ozuna out and Brian De La Cruz DH, and he gets the start in left field, and he tees off on that first pitch, and he has great speed, and I thought this had a chance to be a triple, but he plays it wisely and holds up at second base.
So the Braves have come out swinging here. A two-run homer by Sean Murphy in the first, and now a leadoff double for White in the third. Back around to the top of the order for Ozzie Albies. Albies, another guy who has had some big years. He's had not one but 2 seasons with at least 30 homers and 100 RBIs. That's big production for a second baseman.
First pitch changeup, maybe trying to get him roll over some to the left side so that he doesn't move that runner.
Jimenez going back, makes the catch. Albies retired, 1 down.
Good sequence right there too. Changeup away, come back with the heater in, and he jams him. And you can see Albies trying to shoot something that way, but that fastball ate him up.
So 1 down for Austin Riley, the third baseman who grounded out in the first. It seems like the story's the same with every guy. Huge numbers for a few years, took a step back last year. Injuries a factor for him, and now he hits one hard. Deep left center and gone. That one got out in a hurry, and it's the second 2-run homer of the ball game for the Braves.
Well, this is a fastball, and it's up and out over, and we talked about how electric that fastball was in his last start, but these Braves hitters here early in this ball game seem to be a little bit more on it. See the target up there. You want to keep it up there. 93, yes, but you just have to watch hitter swings, and we weren't seeing swings like that from Red Sox hitters the other night.
4-0 Braves here in the third. 2 home runs already in this game. Swing and a miss here by Matt Olson. Olson walked his first time up and came in on the Murphy home run. George Springer out of the lineup tonight. Again, the left wrist discomfort that knocked him out of the game yesterday into Baltimore. If you weren't with us earlier, the Blue Jays got good news. X-rays taken in Baltimore, no fracture. Went for an MRI once the team landed back here in Toronto last night, and the word from John Schneider was best possible scenario. There's some inflammation in there, but they don't think it's too serious. And at the time we spoke with Schneider, which granted was about 3.5 hours ago, he said, you know, he'll do some stuff before the game, and then who knows, could even be available tonight. We don't know the outcome of that. Jammed Olson there, still 2-2. Lucas claimed off waivers from Detroit last year. The Blue Jays, his third big league club, his fifth organization overall. 3-2.
Pitched in a lot of cities last year, a few times in AAA, in the big leagues.
And high for ball 4. He walks Olsen for the second time tonight. And Tyler Heineman's going to make a walk out to the mound, and Pete Walker is going to join him.
Well, this might be a good time to kind of catch your breath and just remind him that it's damage control time now. It's already a 4-0 Atlanta lead, and the last thing you want them to do is pile on this early.
Sean Murphy is the next batter for Atlanta, and it was Murphy who hit the first home run of the night for the Braves.
Certainly has his power stroke since his return from that fractured rib, and he got a changeup that was up in the zone, and it was a no-doubter as well. Fastball maybe just not as crisp as we saw in his last start, and to me it's the hitters that tell you that too.
So 1 on, 1 out, 4-0 Atlanta in the third. Murphy stepping in against Lucas. Slider down and in for ball 1.
This is where a young pitcher, Easton Lucas is 28 years old. He's not young, but he's new to the big leagues, and this is where a mound visit like that, you really got to get his confidence back and make sure he's on top, because it's easy to feel doubt in yourself right now. It's like, wait, I thought my fastball was better than this, so maybe it's not as good as it was. So you start doubting yourself out there, and that'll be a job for Tyler Heineman to try to get him through here.
Fastball in there to even it up. Heineman catching Lucas for the third start in a row. All 3 times that Lucas has been on the mound for the Blue Jays this year, Heineman's been behind the plate. Stayed with the fastball, 1-2. Riley with a home run earlier this inning. Ground ball to third. Clement to second, 1. Jimenez to first. And the Blue Jays turn their second double play of the night. But Atlanta gets 2 more on the home run by Austin Riley, his third of the season. 4-0 Braves, going bottom 3.
Tell me everything. I don't think you understand. People need a hero.
Prepare yourself for the new Hot Honey Sandwich from Mary Brown's Chicken. Our 100% Canadian chicken breast, smothered in sweet, spicy hot honey sauce, and fully loaded with tangy Monterey Jack and crispy jalapeno bits. Try the new Hot Honey Sandwich from Mary Brown's Chicken. We dare you. Daredevil Born Again, now streaming on Disney+. Crave Canadian.
Your best defense against erosion and cavities is strong enamel. Nothing beats it. Pro Enamel Active Shield actively strengthens the enamel to defend against erosion and cavities. I think that this product is a game changer for my patients. It really works.
Sister's birthday. She's an adult. Please help me. I'm so lost.
Gotcha. Follow me.
I knew it. I'm hot. Thank you, Rick.
What
I mean it.
Conservatives have an economic plan for change. What can it mean for you? Lowering your income taxes by 15% so hard work pays off for a change. Ending the sales tax on homes so the dream of home ownership becomes your reality for a change. Approving pipelines, energy plants, mines, and resource projects so Canada can stand up to the Americans from a position of strength for a change. You can't afford a 4th Liberal term because it's time to put Canada first for a change.
Well, the Blue Jays getting a fair bit out of the bottom of the order, getting on base, moving guys around, and 2 players, Joe, who weren't even locks to make the team going into spring training, have both been big contributors down at the bottom of the lineup.
And that's what you need when the big boys aren't quite doing their thing yet. So you get guys down at the bottom that can contribute offensively, help score some runs, and scratch out some games, and that's exactly what they've done down there for the Blue Jays early on here in the season.
Miles Myles Straw getting his start in center field tonight. A guy who not only has performed well on the field, but has also drawn rave reviews from his manager, his coaches, his teammates, for being as important in the clubhouse as he is on the field. A fly ball to right field here, and Straw is retired. The younger players find him very approachable. Ernie Clement says he's just chill. He goes, you need that over 162 games. He's fun, but he's chill. He never gets rattled. And the coaches will use the phrase, he's a winning player. You need a bunt, he'll drop a bunt. You need a steal, he'll try to steal. He's put the ball in play. He understands situational baseball very well. He's made a lot of friends, and he's made a lot of fans in that clubhouse in a very short time.
He can do a lot of those things that you want from your backup type outfielder. Now with Dalton Varsho out, he'll get more and more starts.
Nathan Lucas, the batter. And the count 1-1. Davis Schneider told me that the first text he got after the Myles Straw trade was from Ernie Clement, who played in Cleveland, where Straw was from. And Ernie said, you're going to love this guy. And Davis Schneider loves that guy.
He was right.
That's line foul. Two and two on Lucas, getting the start in right field. Santander's DHing, Springer's out of the lineup. So it's Rodin, Straw, and Lucas in the outfield. That one got in on the hands of Lucas. The flip to first, and Grant Holmes has retired the first 8 batters he's faced.
He's not looking like that picture we described as walking 4 in each of his last 2 starts. He looks like he is in complete command on the mound.
Number 9 hitter tonight for the Blue Jays is the catcher Tyler Heineman. Who, like Straw, when he's gotten the opportunity, has played very well. Offensively and defensively. Well hit ball center field. But another one that just can't quite get out of here. Second long fly ball almost to the wall in center. This time Heineman is denied. He's got 2 major league homers. He thought he had a shot at number 3.
This just in. Same game parlay from Bet365 just keeps getting better.
That's correct. It's now even easier to create your own unique bet. You could choose any market, like hits, run line, totals, home runs. With our same game parlay, the choice is truly yours.
Download the app and see why it's never ordinary at Bet365.
Depend offers all-day protection, so you can say yes to almost anything.
Yes!
Yes.
Yes!
No. Depend. The only thing stronger than us is you.
And booked. Plus, we got free checked bags with my TD Aeroplan Visa Infinite card.
Everything's better when you save on a vacation.
More like a savecation. That's good.
Oh, yeah. TD. Ready for you.
I was leaving work. Out of nowhere, this beautiful beam of light shined towards me.
It was huge inside, full of futuristic technology.
As it whisked me away, a sense of calm washed over me.
It's monitoring the world around us.
It took me to distant worlds, thousands of kilometers away.
And before I knew it, I was downtown.
The new 2025 Subaru Crosstrek, the true urban legend.
Download the app for the latest odds on today's baseball games and see why it's never ordinary at Bet365.
Welcome back. Dan Shulman, Joe Siddall, and Hazel May with you here tonight. Opening game of the series between the Blue Jays and the Braves. And It's Atlanta up 4-0. A couple of two-run homers, Sean Murphy and Austin Riley. Brian De La Cruz, the DH and number 5 hitter in the Atlanta lineup, will take a changeup down and away for ball 1. This is an Atlanta team that has advanced to the postseason 7 years in a row. Won the World Series in 2021. Brian Snitker has had a lot of success managing this team. Snitker has been in the Braves organization, Joe, forever. He started playing for them in their minor league system in 1977, the year the Blue Jays were born. And he's been in that organization every year since. As a player, a minor league coach, minor league manager, major league coach, now major league manager.
Well, 6 straight titles before that second place finish last year and going to the wild card on the last day. Of course, they've got that World Series win in 2021, but he would also be very familiar with the 14 straight titles between 91 and 05. Of course, we have to exclude the 94 strike year because somebody else, Dan, another team was in first place at the time of that strike.
The Montreal Expos were 74 and 40.
Wow.
What might have been.
What might have been.
Look out. Screamer over near the first base dugout. Still 2-2.
But even with all those titles, just the one World Series in 95. During that whole run, they lost 4 World Series. So you want to talk about how hard it is to win one. Ask anyone in the Atlanta organization, and Brian Snitker knows very well.
When you got Glavine, Maddox, and Smoltz for most of those years, that's a pretty good foundation right there. Two and 2 the count on De La Cruz as Lucas comes set. And another foul off.
It's not quite as sharp with that pitch there, leaving some of those up in the zone. His effectiveness is with that fastball more so in the middle top part of the zone and then burying those 2 breaking balls.
And he got him. There's the fastball up above the zone. You see a little emotion there from Lucas, and that may be lamenting what's already happened as much as relishing what just happened.
Yeah, he's trying to get back on track here, and maybe this is a good start against De La Cruz. He knows that's his bread and butter when he uses the heater at the top of the zone, especially after that breaking pitch.
That's his first strikeout tonight. He does have a couple of double plays behind him as well. Here's Michael Harris, the second, and he'll ground one to first. Guerrero will make the play himself, 2 down. He wants to throw the ball to Jimenez, the second baseman, but Andres isn't looking at him, so Vladdy just threw it to Bo Bichette at short.
So many pitchers will get a new baseball just because there is a batted ball put in play.
Now Stuart Fairchild, who I assume is not related to tonight's third base umpire Chad Fairchild.
I sure hope not.
That would seem to be a problem. Well, remember it happened. Jim Wolf, still an umpire. There's Chad Fairchild, the third base umpire. Jim Wolf, still a major league umpire, and his brother Randy was a longtime pitcher. I believe Jim was allowed to work games Randy was in, but he wasn't allowed to work the plate. He definitely wasn't allowed to work the plate, but I think he was allowed to work the game. I can't think of another instance where something like that has happened, but I'm sure there have been others.
Easton getting ahead 0-2 real quick here. It'd be nice to have a quick inning, just to give you that air of confidence moving forward, get deeper into this ball game.
That's where he wants to put that fastball,
yes,
right?
And that's you can see that pitch. That's thrown with conviction, and I'm not sure if maybe I mentioned it back in the first inning when he threw all those breaking balls to Olsen. It is the first inning. You want to establish your heater and get the feel for the game, and I thought he got away from his game plan immediately. Then he gave up the home run to Murphy on the changeup.
That one comes in low. 1 ball, 2 strikes. There's nothing wrong with his velocity tonight. The last fastball was 95. That changeup was 89.5.
Yeah, it was a good one too, and it was a good job by the hitter to lay off. But oftentimes the hitters, again, will tell you, whether it says 94 or 95, what are the hitters doing? And if they're squaring them up, then it just doesn't have that extra gear like we saw last start.
Out of play over the first base dugout.
And that's that carry that pitchers will talk about. Had a good chat with Kevin Gausman today about that. Now, Gausman started as a sinker ball pitcher, remember, back in Baltimore. And it got to a point where they were saying, like, no, it's not working down the zone. Show, here are your numbers. It's getting hit pretty hard. So he became a 4-seam guy at the top of the zone. And you have to change.
Swing and a miss. Again, the high fastball to get him. And again, a pump of the fist from Easton Lucas. A 3-up, 3-down inning with a couple of strikeouts here in the 4th. Starting to find his groove.
It's an NHL doubleheader. Montreal hosts Carolina. Then the Ducks are in Winnipeg. The final Scotiabank Wednesday night hockey of the season on Sportsnet.
Why don't you start planning the parade?
Good question. Why don't we? If we really believe that a Canadian hockey team can win it all this year, why don't we feel the dreams this thing? Manifest a win.
Patio furniture already?
It's happening! It's happening! Thousands of spring rollbacks. Spring is in the air.
Totally. I'm sorry. Allergies.
Yeah.
What am I gonna eat before the game? Somebody should create the perfect pregame snack.
Like Uncrustables?
The center should be packed with the perfect balance of PB&J.
Like Uncrustables?
I will call this snack Uncrustables. Can I get a bite?
Braves, Blue Jays, tomorrow on Sportsnet.
Well, for this team to really get going, they got to hit for more power. It's been discussed a lot already this year. And when you look at the top 3, the big 3, whatever you want to call them, you look at the slugging percentage they have this year. You look at their career slugging percentage numbers. The numbers suggest it's only a matter of time.
And that's what track records are for these guys that have done it year in and year out. These are not guys that are in their first or second year in the big leagues. It's not like we're still trying to figure out who they are as hitters. I think their career track record shows who they are as hitters, and those numbers will become inflated as we move forward. It is only April 14th. It's hard to be very patient early in this season because we know the one thing this Blue Jays lineup has to do to score more runs is to find the seats a little bit more often this season.
9 up, 9 down for Grant Holmes through 3. So Bichette's going to lead it off here, bottom 4.
And Bo is 1-2, and I wouldn't classify Bo at all as a home run hitter. I think Bo is the type of guy that can lead the league in hits again, and hit 310, 320, and still hit his 20 and some change. He will hit some homers, but that to me, he's a more double, spread all around, tough of 2 strikes guy.
And he's having a good year.
Yes,
he's hitting a ton of line drives. He leads the major leagues in hard hit balls. That's 95 miles an hour or harder. He's hitting over 300. He's not hitting home runs, but he's hitting the ball all over the ballpark.
With this approach, he'll hit 20 by accident.
Swing and a miss here. That's a sharp slider there from Holmes to get him.
Holmes has used the fastball slider combination to these right-handed batters, and Vladdy, you can expect the same thing.
So now Guerrero, who hit a deep fly ball to center his first time up. Line to short, and a nice play made by Nick Allen for out number 2.
Well, He's all over the pitch. A little breaking pitch away. Stays on it pretty well. Maybe a little toward the end. Nice job timing that jump by the Brave shortstop.
So 11 in a row set down by Holmes so far. And here's Santander, who grounded out to second his first time up. Seen a pretty good mix here from Holmes. That was the slower breaking ball, a curve at 81.
Mix that in more against the lefties, slider more to the righties. As we said earlier, it's exactly what Holmes has done.
In the air down the left field line. Drifting over is Eli White to make the catch. And again, Holmes sets down the Blue Jays in order.
And booked. Plus, we got free checked bags with my TD Aeroplan Visa Infinite card.
Everything's better when you save on a vacation.
More like a save-cation. That's good.
Oh, yeah.
TD. Ready for you.
The federal election is on Monday, April 28th. You can vote early. Advance polls will be open April 18th to 21st. If you prefer, you can vote at any Elections Canada office until Tuesday, April 22nd, 6 p.m., or you can apply to vote by mail. Check your voter information card or visit elections.ca for all the ways you can vote. It's our vote.
For the official information you need to vote, visit elections.ca or call 1-800-463-6868.
What am I going to eat before the game? Somebody should create the perfect pregame snack.
Like Uncrustables?
The center should be packed with the perfect balance of PB&J.
Like Uncrustables?
I will call this snack Uncrustables. Can I get a bite?
If you're looking for a fun day, did you know the day before Monday? Junior J Sunday. You can paint your face. Come and meet Ace and run base to base. On Junior J Sunday. So many things to do. You could bring your crew and even mom and dad too. Junior J Sunday.
Junior J Sundays are back. And with all kinds of cool games and activities in the exciting outfield district areas, there's no end to the family fun you'll have.
If you're feeling the song, grab your dad or mom. Visit BlueJays.com. Junior J Sunday.
Folks, don't miss the next Junior J Sunday. It's coming this Sunday, April the 20th. There will be games, activities, live artists, and even a glow-in-the-dark disco party. And be sure to stick around after the game where kids 14 and under can run the bases. Head to bluejays.com/promotions to get your tickets. Top five, 4-0 Braves. And here's Nick Allen, the shortstop, leading it off against Easton Lucas. Takes it low, 2-0. Lucas was originally supposed to start yesterday in Baltimore, but the postponement Friday pushed everything back. So instead, he's on the mound for the first game here in this series. Kevin Gausman will start tomorrow night, and Chris Bassett Wednesday afternoon. For the Braves, Spencer Schwellenbach, who in his second year in the majors already looks like, Joe, one of the very best young starting pitchers around. He will start tomorrow night. And then it's not official, but it is assumed that Spencer Strider, who's been out a year after elbow surgery, he's been on rehab. He's physically here in Toronto. And it's assumed that he is going to come off the IL and start Wednesday afternoon.
Just 2 starts for Strider last year before the injury. So Brian Snitker and the Atlanta Braves could use him back ASAP. It looks like they may get him Wednesday.
So that's some tough sledding the next couple of days.
Yeah, 2 very good starting pitchers coming at you, and that's not counting Grant Holmes, what he's doing tonight.
Couple of Spencers, Schwellenbach and Strider. Strider struck out 13 and 5 1/3 in his last rehab start. You can see the microscopic ERA that Schwellenbach has. This one sliced down the line, foul.
Schwellenbach will be bringing the heat, averaging almost 97 miles per hour with that fastball, and he's got a big-time slider that he gets a lot of his strikeouts with. Not a big guy. He's only about 6'1", but gets great extension down the mound, and he has been nasty. Off to a great start.
There are a lot of Spencers kicking around the major leagues these days. Torkelson.
Are they all in their mid-20s?
They're all about the same age.
Couldn't have been a hot name right around that time.
This one out of play as well. Of course, Spencer Horwitz, the former Blue Jay, the current Pirate. Yeah, they are all about the same age. Must have been a trendy name about 26, 27 years ago.
Nick Allen is clearly being played the other way. See Ethan Lucas way over by the line, and that's where a lot of those foul balls are going. And then he pulls it, of course.
Lines it hard into left field, a base hit.
That's called going against the scouting report. He got a lot of pitches in the middle of the plate, and it looked like that two-strike approach. He was just trying to stay on it and go the other way and trying to come inside here, and he was ready for it. Down, it's easier to get to because you're dropping the bat head. If that ball is up more waist high, they probably jam him.
And most of the success he had in his first 2 starts with the fastball, it was up.
Up, yeah.
Eli White, the batter, the number 9 hitter. Runner goes. The throw from Heineman, safe at second base, is Allen.
Did he miss the tag? You'll see these catcher's throws, and Tyler Heineman does this very well. It gets rid of the ball so quickly, but he throws it to the right of the second base bag, and you'll see that Jimenez tries to apply the tag right around the helmet area, and he may have missed him. He did.
Very close. Inches, right?
Yep.
Had he gotten him, the tag would have been there before he got to the bag. 0-1 the count on White. Bounced in, blocked by Heineman.
Tyler does a great job getting rid of the ball very quickly. And when your exchange is that quick, your footwork has to be right so you can be accurate. And accurate in today's game is throwing the ball to the right of the second base bag.
You would aim for the bag.
I always aim for the bag, and your natural throw would tail into the runner. So unless you had a cannon of an arm that's four-seam right there to the bag, it's naturally going to tail into the runner. But now they aim to the right of the bag, and they want that tag because of replay.
I think it's a harder call for the umpire when you played the glove and the sliding foot or hand. They all came together right at the base. But now the tag can be down on the leg like 4 feet this way as the hands are touching the base.
Yeah,
that's what replay's for.
Depends which way they're sliding. In that case, Allen was sliding feet first, so Jimenez just missed the helmet.
Three and 1 the count on White. And just high, ball 4. That is the 4th walk given up by Lucas here tonight.
Step up to the plate and take on any DIY project. At Home Hardware Building Centers, we have everything to build anything. Here's how.
Lots of photos of Vladimir Guerrero Jr. with the word home on him around the ballpark, and that famous shot of young Vladdy, 3-year-old Vladdy in Montreal. You can see it top left there with his famous father. Pete Walker out for the second time to visit with Easton Lucas. It looks like the phone rang down in the bullpen. There's a lot of movement going on right now. We'll see who's getting up.
Well, less than ideal, walking the number 9 hitter to turn that lineup over, and now Lucas is facing the top for the 3rd time.
It's going to be Jacob Barnes. So 2 on, nobody out. Albies 0 for 2 on a couple of pop-ups.
And Albie is hitting from his better side, right-handed against the lefty. Seen him for a 3rd time now.
Hits it well down the left field line. A diving attempt, but it is past Rodin and rattling around in the corner. It'll be an RBI double for Albies. Runners at 2nd and 3rd, and it's 5-0.
It didn't look like he was hit real hard, but Roden had a long ways to go to get to this ball. Fastball in off the plate, probably jammed him a little bit. But look where Roden is playing, way over in that left center gap, and most outfielders will play that way and really never came too close to it.
So the Braves have added another run. The infield coming in now for the Blue Jays. The batter Austin Riley, who homered his last time up. And hits another one high and deep to left center field, and he's got his second home run of the night. A 3-run shot as Atlanta has blown it open here in the 5th.
Well, this is the power that they have not had early in this season, but the Atlanta Braves bats are heating up. They are averaging 4.5 runs a game over their last 8 after a very slow start. And they're going to be way up over that now. First pitch slider, and you see where that pitch is. It kind of just rolls in there. At 89, that's the one you want biting down if you're going to throw it. And Riley was all over it.
Joe, both of his home runs have come on the first pitch of the at-bat.
Jumping all over it. One a fastball, one a slider. No hurry to that swing. Easton Lucas saying this has not happened to me in my first 2 starts.
Out in front of Matt Olson, 0-2. 2 home runs and 5 runs driven in for Riley tonight. Man.
Easton had good minor league numbers, and it just hadn't translated to the big league. So I had asked him about that in the spring. And he had just said that when you make mistakes in the minor leagues, they might be foul balls. When you make mistakes in the big leagues, they do damage and can really hurt you. And the stuff was probably better in the first 2 starts, cruising right along, but this might be a good example right here is what he's referring to when you maybe don't have that grade A stuff. You get some power hitters that can do some damage. They've done that tonight.
Sean Murphy, the batter, he homered back in the first, grounded into a double play in the 3rd. Boy, they're up there kind of swinging free and easy early in the count.
Yeah, and when he got through that 4th inning, you're looking at it. We saw some good fastballs. We saw some good emotion from him, and then that's where you start wondering to yourself, okay, is that because you're getting down in the order, or were they good fastballs? Did they have that good carry that we had seen in his previous starts?
Two balls and a strike on Murphy. Popped up shallow right field. And Lucas coming in. Now the Blue Jays have surrendered 3 home runs tonight. They've now given up 21. This is their 17th game of the season. They've hit only 8. Again, they're 9-7 because they're getting their hits. They're getting on base. The starting pitching's been very good. They've been kind of winning around the margins, but long-term, big picture, got to get some pop.
You sure do. The pitching has absolutely carried them and papered over what has not happened with this offense. And we've said at the beginning of the season, we said all winter, Dan, and going into spring training and coming into the season, this team needs to score more runs. And the quickest way of doing that is hitting the ball out of the ballpark. They acquired Anthony Santander. You expect him to hit 30+ after hitting 44 last year. You expect 30 and some change from Vladdy. You can go up and down the lineup, but they're going to need contributions. That means you're going to need 15 from Alejandro Kirk. You're going to need 15 to 20 from George Springer. Like, the numbers have to keep adding up.
Yep. Get Dalton Varsho back.
Dalton Varsho back. And you can go around the infield. You can expect or plan on 15 to 20 from Bo Bichette, from Jimenez. Jimenez has hit 15 a couple of times, but we're not seeing really it anywhere, let alone from the big guys.
A couple of strikes on Brian De La Cruz. To right field, Lucas tracking it, and it makes the catch to retire the side. But Atlanta with its third homer, a 4-run fifth, and an 8-0 lead as we check in with Jamie Campbell.
All right, here's the in-game tracker brought to you by Bet365. Speaking of starting pitchers having a bad day, Tanner Houck is having one himself. Cameron Meisner with a 2-run shot here for the Rays. Here's Danny Jansen, and the error committed by Bregman allows a run to come in to score. And Houck, it appears, may have looked at his third baseman and maybe the entire infield after that one. Jake Mangum now with a roller up the middle, and this one gets by Story. So do the stairs continue? Let's say yes. And things are going swimmingly for Tampa Bay. 14-1 is the score. Houck responsible for 10 earned runs. Jazz Chisholm has 6 home runs this year. My goodness, this one just tied the ball game down in New York. They're knotted at 1 with Kansas City. That's the in-game tracker brought to you by Bet365. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365.
At Wayfair, we get pretty excited about furniture. Around here, it's not a patio, it's a patio.
Oh, I love those chairs.
Shed-tastic.
Girl, you nailed it!
No, this set, it's just a couple of screws.
Wayfair, every style, every home.
At Fidelity, we know that everyone's got financial goals, and they're all different. But the one thing we share, we all want to get to them sooner.
Fans score big with the City Connect Bomber Jacket giveaway presented by Enercare. Enhance your City Connect Fridays look by being one of the first 15,000 fans here this coming Friday when Seattle's in town. Get your tickets now, BlueJays.com/promotions. Well, it's a long way back for the Blue Jays right now. They're down 8-0 going to the bottom of the 5th. The Blue Jays haven't had a base runner yet against Grant Holmes. It'll be Andres Jimenez, Ernie Clement, and Alan Roden. And a curveball misses down and in, ball 1. Jimenez with a line out to right his first time up. Two 2-0. Guerrero probably looking at his first 2 at-bats tonight. A couple of well-hit balls, but a deep fly to center and a line out to short. And now ball 3 to Jimenez.
Holmes has thrown only 38 pitches here, and he took over 100 pitches to get through 4 innings in his last start with those command issues. So not a bad idea to wait him out a little bit and try to eke your way back in here.
It's pretty live stuff.
Yeah.
A cutter fouled off, and Murphy got dinged. It's a hard cutter at 92. Let's see if Murphy's okay. You catchers, man, you're tougher than the rest of us.
Let's guess that it did miss the equipment. Got the equipment for a change. That's just a little ding. He should be fine. That hit the shin guard.
Three-two. Outside ball 4, and there's the first base runner of the night as we check in with Hazelbank.
Dan, Ernie Clement may have been just a little too passive at the plate to start the year. He told me he was trying to work counts, which, as we know, not really his game. His game is being aggressive and playing into his contactability. I just need to start hunting those pitches I know I can do damage on. And we saw a little bit of that Sunday. He recorded a career-high 4 hits for his first multi-hit game of the year. Dan.
Hazel, thank you. All right, Joe. Guessing game in those 4 at-bats where Ernie had his hits yesterday. How many pitches do you think he saw total?
6.
Bingo.
No, come on, really? I knew he teed off on a few first pitches.
Yeah.
It was an easy guess because you just got to stay. You know he's not going to see more than one or two probably when he's going good.
1-1-1-3-1. He had a fielder's choice in there too, where he saw 2. So 5 at bats yesterday. He saw 8 pitches.
Yeah, and one would think that opposing pitchers now are not going to necessarily be in the strike zone first pitch, because the other thing he does do is he will expand.
Grounds 1 to third here, and the Braves will turn 2. So the Blue Jays get their first base runner, but it doesn't last very long as he's erased on that double play. Now Rodin, who struck out in the second. Helmet flies off with the force of that swing.
Saw Allen around the batting cage today, and it looked like he was working on something with his move, and I went up to him to ask him, and I said, are you trying to control that forward move a little bit? It looks to me over this last week that he's been really getting out there and coming around the baseball. And he said that he's not so much controlling the forward move, but he's trying to slow down the move, the leg kick, because he feels rushed. And when a hitter feels rushed, that's not a good word. You don't want to feel rushed at the plate, because that will propel you forward and work around the baseball.
What would make a hitter feel rushed?
Starting late, or your move being too big. So if you're starting a little bit late, now you're playing catch up. Or if your move is big, if your forward move, if you don't get a good coil on that backside and really hold it till you identify the pitch, if you lift the leg and fall forward or drift forward, now you're shortening the distance between you and the baseball. Now you got to rush to get to it, because as a hitter you don't want to get jammed, but they've been rushing it pretty good with some fastballs like right there on the inside part of the plate. So the velocity especially will be tough on the inside, but so will identifying spin, because you're drifting forward, and now there's no way that you can turn behind the baseball and stay behind the ball, as hitters always talk about.
Saw hitting coach David Popkins looking on from the Blue Jays dugout. 1-2 the count here on Rodin.
Coming in again.
Tried to, but it missed outside. You don't see a catcher set up inside for a curveball very often.
I think with the right-hand pitcher you will, because it's breaking. He's trying to bury it down and in. Now, of course, it got away from Holmes there, kind of went over the backside. But yeah, if you're trying to bury it back foot, you'll get in there. Looks like he's using hand signals, fingers.
Did not go. What is this, 2021?
I love this. I think we're seeing fingers, signals from the catcher. Taking a peek at his heat maps.
Well, I'll be.
Yeah,
you're right.
This is old school baseball.
What is going on?
Sean Murphy, I'm a big fan already.
Bouncer to first, Olsen to Holmes, and the Blue Jays still without a hit now through 5, trailing Atlanta by a score of 8-0. Jacob Barnes coming in.
Drums keep pounding a rhythm to the brain. La-di-da-di-dee. La-di-da-di-da. And the beat goes on.
Sometimes the greatest rush
Beat goes on.
is not rushing at all in the all-new Nissan Murano.
One of Canada's favorite celebrities has killed any ideas about motive.
Maybe someone didn't like the material.
What's the best way to stop the laughter? Kill the jester.
The scandal is going to leak.
Help is always within reach at Home Hardware. And during the Bring Spring Home Sale, so are savings. Save 25% on select Beauty Tone paint and stain, and up to 25% on Scott's Turf Builder products. Only at Home Hardware and Building Centers.
There are some feelings you can get with any sportsbook. The no-no-nos. The oh-oh-ohs. Now, what you want to do with this? But the feeling that no matter what, you're taken care of. That feels good. You only get that here at the sportsbook Born in Vegas, where they know how to treat you right. Who you talking to, Jamie Foxx?
Download the BetMGM app. BetMGM, the sportsbook born in Vegas.
Well, a much different result for Easton Lucas tonight after 2 outstanding efforts in his first 2 starts. The Braves hit 3 home runs off him, 2 by Austin Riley, and no doubt he and Pete Walker and company will get back to work and have a look at the results tonight and see what they can work on between now and his next outing.
Maybe just a little bit of conviction with that fastball. It just wasn't quite the same, and however he gets behind that baseball real well, it just didn't seem to have that extra gear, or at least Atlanta Braves hitters were all over him. Jacob Barnes pitching in his 5th game of the season. Last pitched on Tuesday in Boston. And he will try to log in some workload here in the middle of this ball game.
Yeah, a guy who can go more than an inning, and John Schneider doesn't want to use too many people right now given the margin here tonight. Michael Harris the second leading it off. Harris is 0 for 1 with a walk. Lucas still in the dugout, interestingly, looking on. That's foul.
It's good to see, because from a pitcher with relatively inexperienced like that, it'd be easy to go in, do what you have to do inside and all, but there's always something to learn. He'll continue to watch the rest of this game, perhaps watch how the hitters are reacting against certain pitchers, and maybe pick up something for his next time out. His first 2 starts were too good to feel this is a major setback. Just get right back on that thing and get back for that next start.
If they stay on turn, his next start would be Sunday against Seattle here in the final game of the homestand. Blue Jays with an off day on Thursday. In there, 2-2. Jacob Barnes has pitched for 9 different major league teams. The Blue Jays twice, 10 appearances in 2021. This is 5th here. This year he has never been an Atlanta Brave. Fouled back.
4 different pitches. He used a 4-seam fastball, cutter, and slider to go with the split. And when you have that array of pitches, it helps you against both righties and lefties, and especially when you're in a long roll here where you're trying to probably navigate the lineup at least once.
In the air to left, drifting back, and with room is Rodin, 1 down.
Depend guards won't make you a grill master, but they'll show leaks who's boss. Keep it dry, guys.
The Blue Jays glad to be back home after a long trip. Turned into a 9-game trip because of the postponement on Friday. Off to a bumpy start here in the first game of the homestand, down 8-0 as Stuart Fairchild, the right fielder, digs in for the Braves. And he has popped it up. Heineman will make the catch in foul territory, 2 down. What was your takeaway from the road trip?
Well, not being with you, Dan, and you and Buck looked really cold when you had your toques on before that one game. But the takeaway from the road trip was that this season is going to be a roller coaster. So put on your seatbelts and enjoy the ride, because it reminded me, looking around this division, the Red Sox, the Orioles, we know what the Yankees have been doing, that there is no dominant team. And I felt going into the season that the Yankees could be a problem. The Red Sox could be a problem. But a lot of teams have been dealing with some injuries. But yeah, very sporadic, poor play.
Well, tonight's a much different story, obviously, but the last 4 games for the Blue Jays, all 1-run affairs, and 3 of the 4 extra inning games. And all 4 of those, of course, were against divisional rivals, be it the Orioles or the Red Sox. Jamie gave you the update between innings. It is anything but a close game in Tampa as well. The Rays are leading the Red Sox 14-1 right now in the top of the 4th. The Yankees are up 4-1 on Kansas City. 5th inning in the Bronx.
A couple more home runs for the Rays, so the balls are still flying out a little bit at George Steinbrenner Field in Florida. That's where Atlanta just came from.
Ground ball left side, bit of a tricky hop for Clement, but Ernie makes a nice play, and the Braves go in order.
That's what really good hitters do, right? They eliminate one side of the plate.
Blair and Barker. Listen weekdays on Sportsnet 590 The Fan or wherever you get your podcasts.
Are you ready?
Yeah.
Do you like puzzles, Mr. Wolf?
Should we go over the plan again?
Plan?
Here's to those who build Canadian, like Kevin, who turned to his local home hardware to help design and build a tiny home away from home. And Siobhan, who asked her neighborhood store how to make her yard the envy of her neighbors. And Eric and Sasha, who brought their dream outdoor living space to life while it was still warm out. Whatever your home needs, we're here in over 1,000 communities across the country. Home Hardware and Building Centers are proud to be locally owned and genuinely Canadian.
Depend offers all-day protection, so you can say yes to almost anything.
Yes! Yes. Yes. No.
Depend. The only thing stronger than us is you.
It's been said you should have money in your head, not in your heart. I say it should end up in your pocket. So, how do you get yours? The answer is zero commission trades. Now go get yours.
Golden Knights, Canucks, Wednesday on Sportsnet 360 and Sportsnet Pacific.
Well, on Wednesday, why not come on down to the ballpark for a little daytime baseball? The Blue Jays and Braves in the final game of 3. It's a 1 o'clock start. Get your tickets now. Visit BlueJays.com/tickets today. Chris Bassett will start for the Blue Jays. And again, not officially announced, but it sure looks like Spencer Strider will be on the mound for Atlanta. Here it is all Braves, 8-0. The Blue Jays don't have a hit yet. Miles Straw will try to change that as he takes one up at the top of the zone for a strike. Bottom third of the lineup: Straw, Lucas, and Heineman. Lays off the slider. 1 ball, 1 strike.
You can tell why Brian Snitker loves this guy on his team. You need him to start, he can come in and fill the role. Go to the bullpen, he can give you innings out of the bullpen. And he did a great job of that last season. 10 years in the minor leagues, and Snitker mentioned that in spring training. 10 years in the minor leagues. That's some perseverance before he got his chance last year.
Like some guys bounce up and down and they accumulate 10 years in the minors, but 10 years before ever getting a shot.
It's hard to keep going at it for 10 years without giving up the dream. And wouldn't you know it, in the final day of the season, they had some rain during the week that last week, so they had to play a doubleheader against the Mets. So he gets the call in the final game, goes 4 shutout innings. Bullpen took care of the rest, and that got them into the postseason.
Well, Strider coming back, but Holmes is certainly making a case to not be the guy who comes out of the rotation. They sent AJ Smith-Shawver down to the minors, but more of a temporary thing. Straw gives it a ride. Deep left field. It is gone. The first hit of the night is Miles Straw's first home run as a Blue Jay, and it is 8-1.
Well, speaking of playing time, Miles Straw just continues to do anything and everything to stay in this Blue Jays lineup, getting the start in center field tonight. Certainly not a home run hitter, but he got a hold of this one.
A guy who is really making his presence felt on this team and the opportunities he is getting. We talked about him a little bit earlier. I decided to kind of do the rounds, talk to some coaches and teammates. None of them knew I was talking to anybody else about him. And man, oh man, is he a popular guy in that clubhouse. You know, two of the themes were he knows what he brings to the club. He knows what his role is on this club. And a lot of guys talked about how confident he is, even though at this point he's a part-time player, that he brings a lot of confidence into every situation, no matter what he's being asked to do.
And it's not a lot of fun playing down 8-0, but that swing has to feel pretty good for Miles Straw.
Now Lucas lifts a fly ball, shallow center field. Harris coming in, and he makes a basket catch. as we go down to the field at Hazel May.
Miles Straw told me that with the help of the hitting lab, he was able to experiment with different stances and found out he was landing on his front foot just a little too hard. So what did they do? They incorporated a wider stance for him in the box, and that, according to Straw, evens him out just a little bit, and he said it's felt good ever since, and boy, does it ever look like it, guys.
Hazel, thank you. Again, maybe playing a little bit more than people expected. How many people expected him to make the team at the beginning of the spring? But he found out with a couple of days left he was on the team. And again, he's got a lot of people who really like him. Dalton Varsho's coming back. This guy's not going anywhere.
No way. And I felt like in spring training before that decision was made at the end that he would make the team and be my everyday center fielder if Varsho starts on the IL. But I thought if Varsho is able to come back and make the club, he would probably be definitely an odd guy out. Now, clearly not the case, and you're right, he's not going anywhere now.
Ernie Clement told me he thinks the change of scenery was crucial for Straw. Straw spent almost all of last year at AAA. Only played in 4 games in the big leagues. But Ernie said he came to Toronto knowing guys. Andres Jimenez, a teammate of his in Cleveland. Ernie Clement, a teammate of his in Cleveland. DeMarlo Hale was in Cleveland. He was a teammate of George Springer's in Houston. So Straw gets here, gets the change of scenery, but he walks into the clubhouse for the first time and he knows a few guys. And then to a man, everybody says how quickly he was able to become part of the group, how approachable he is, how he communicates. Like within days, it was like he had been here a couple of years already.
And you hope maybe he's onto something, as Hazel was referring to with the hitting coaches there. And sometimes it's a subtle thing. Maybe if you're landing too hard, you're moving forward too much. And maybe you can just get into that more athletic stance. And even on that swing that we saw there, I talk about a controlled forward move all the time because so many hitters, if you're out of control going forward and landing hard, it's very difficult to stay behind the baseball the way he did on that swing. So you figure those things out, you figure out how a guy's body moves, and they have all this feedback now, and maybe he's onto something. That's a great thing.
Heineman strikes out for the second out. Back to the top of the order for Bo Bichette. 95 at the knees for a strike. Big cut. 0-2.
So big cut. But you see how he let that fastball, it got deep on him and it really traveled, and that's why I think Bo can be such an effective hitter. Not everybody can allow a fastball to get that deep because they won't get to the baseball. They'll be late and swing and miss. His ability to do that allows him to hit so many different pitches.
Like that.
It's crazy. And that's when we talk about turning the barrel in behind. That barrel is back before most people, and it's because of his body, the way it moves, it allows the barrel to do that. It's hard to do.
Have you ever seen anybody who hits like Bo Bichette?
You know, he reminds me, I shouldn't say that, he doesn't remind me in a way of like a Paul Molitor, because he's not like, that's a different short to the ball, Molitor is.
And Bichette upset with himself as he went after a pitch out of the zone, so he strikes out to end the inning. But Miles Straw gets the Blue Jays on the board, his first home run as a Blue Jay here tonight, and it's 8-1.
Tomorrow,
the Blue Jays are back home.
Oh my! Can the Jays hurlers tame the Braves bats? Braves, Blue Jays, tomorrow on Sportsnet.
In my book, saving while shopping is a no-brainer. So I use Rakuten to get cash back while I'm book clubbing. Cha-ching.
Well, how does that work?
Well, stores pay Rakuten to send them shoppers. Rakuten shares that money with us in a check or PayPal payment. It's free and easy.
Allergy symptoms. You feel terrible. You look terrible. Your nose drips like a faucet. You can't stop itching and clawing at your eyes. Everyone around you thinks you're contagious, so you're constantly explaining they're just allergies. Thankfully, there's Reactin. It acts fast and lasts 24 hours. Reactin. Serious about allergies.
The Empire cannot win.
The revolution is coming alive.
This is do or die. I'm thinking like a soldier. Think like a leader.
Andor Season 2, streaming April 22nd, only on Disney+.
Oilers, Sharks, Wednesday on Sportsnet.
Miles Straw just hit his first home run as a member of the Blue Jays. He, of course, is tonight's starting center fielder with Dalton Varsho on the IL. Now, John Schneider told me that Varsho played 6 innings in an extended spring training game in the outfield. Now, he didn't have have to make any long throws in the gap, but just normal throws back into the infield, and he felt really good doing so. Now he's going to hit live BP tomorrow, and then his wife is going to have a baby on Wednesday. And now, of course, Varsho will be there for the birth of their first child. And then hopefully this weekend, guys, he'll start a rehab assignment with the Dunedin team. So good news all the way around. On and off the field, Dan.
Hazel, thank you. Congratulations to the Varshos. So a lot going on this week, and it looks like Dalton will be back on the field with the Dunedin Blue Jays on the weekend. Get a few games in there, and then I would imagine Joe probably go to Buffalo, get a few games in there. So maybe, who knows, 10 days, 2 weeks, Varsho might be back. Number 9 hitter Eli White leads it off. Lines one to right center, and in to make the catch is Nathan Lucas.
Could certainly use that power in Dalton Varsho's bat. We know he can run into several, and Blue Jays lineup could desperately need that at this time. So the sooner the better, not to mention his center field defense, but Miles Straw is certainly filling in admirably.
Hopefully George Springer isn't out too long and he can get back to what he's been doing, running around the outfield as well, but it'll get crowded out there when Dalton Varsho comes back. Top of the order, Ozzie Albies, 1 for 3, hit an RBI double in his last at bat. Varsho hit 18 home runs last year, 20 the year before, a career high 27 back in 2022, his last year with the Diamondbacks. Guerrero to his left, feeds Barnes, 2 down. So Jacob Barnes is giving the Blue Jays what they need, 5 up, 5 down, as Guerrero's still having a little playful chat with Albies. Here's Austin Riley, who has been the biggest problem for the Blue Jays tonight. He's got 2 home runs, a 2-run shot and a 3-run shot. He started the year, Joe, 5 for 35. He's 14 for 30 since, so he's coming around fast. Ground ball to second. Jimenez on to first. Jacob Barnes. 2 perfect innings in relief. 7th inning stretch here at the ballpark. Vladdy leading off.
Oh no. Don't go there. Don't go there. You know, run. Aw. You're so cute. Okay. I think I got it.
What if I crashed through the window?
That's genius.
From business.
Excellent.
To taking care of business. Rogers Xfinity Internet changes everything.
We met in your living room over 35 years ago. Whether you shopped with us every day or tuned in after hockey, we've been here, coast to coast, Canadian to our core. Sure, we've changed a little, just like you, but some things haven't changed. We continue to support jobs, families, and thousands of products made right here at home, making it easier than ever to support our True North brands, so every purchase counts for Canada. Shop proudly Canadian at tsc.ca.
That feeling of relief after Restoralax helps you go. Restoralax works with the water in your body to hydrate and soften stools for gentle constipation relief to restore your natural rhythm. Restore your natural rhythm with Restoralax.
It's been said you should have money in your head, not in your heart. I say it should end up in your pocket. So, how do you get yours? The answer is zero commission trades. Now go get yours.
Well, today is when Vladimir Guerrero Jr. officially signed the historic contract. Let's go back a few years. This is 2019. Late April, Vlad Jr. wearing Vlad Sr.'s Expos jersey as he walks into this ballpark. He had just gotten called up, had a big press conference then, got the locker, got the gear, baby face, and he's still got a baby face, but baby-faced, barely 20 years old and 41 days. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. He was asked a couple of different ways today. Could you ever have imagined then what is happening to you now with the contract? High fly ball left center, but this one's going to be playable as well. Harris is there. And Vladdy said, to be honest with you, and he didn't say it in a cliche kind of way. He said, I stay in today. He said, I can't think about when I was 20 or what'll be when I'm 40. He said, I got to stay today. And today, as you can see, as much fun as he and his family had earlier today. He's a little bit frustrated here tonight.
Yeah, it's a good frame of mind to be in, and you can see the frustration there. And I think it's going to be growing around this Blue Jays lineup until they start hitting some of those balls out of the ballpark. Looked like Vladdy just missed that one again.
Now, Grant Holmes is throwing a whale of a game. Two outstanding pitchers scheduled to go for Atlanta the next couple of days, and then Seattle comes to town, and the Mariners have a terrific group of starting pitchers. Anthony Santander with a fly ball to right, and out number 2. And up in the bullpen now for the Blue Jays, Yariel Rodriguez. He'll get some work in here tonight.
Trying to eat up these innings, and you get into games like this, you try to get through without using any of your big guys at the back end. Jeff Hoffman's been used twice now, back-to-back games for 2 innings, because that's what close games call for, and it's worked. But they'll need a breather too. Him and Jimmy Garcia, Chad Green down there.
Swing and a miss by Andres Jimenez, 1-1. Holmes hasn't lost anything since the beginning of the night. Just 1 hit for the Blue Jays, and that's the Miles Straw home run.
Just staying off the barrels, like even the cutter that he threw to Vladdy there, just got it toward the end of the bat. He's the kind of guy as a pitcher that you're looking out there and in the dugout by now, they're like, what does this guy have? It doesn't look like, it's not 98, 99. It's nothing nasty, but he's just in control of all of his pitches. He's using the 4-seam fastball and the cutter in on the lefties a lot and dropping that breaker down and away. And that slider away from the righties has been a big pitch, and Bo knows that.
Riley over near the shortstop position. The big stretch by Olsen. They get Jimenez, and we're through 7. It is 8-1 Atlanta as we check in with Jamie and Madison in the Home Hardware studio.
All right, thank you, Dan. Take advantage of your outfield this summer and tackle all your summer projects with Home Hardware, locally owned, genuinely Canadian. What should we, Madison, digest with respect to Easton Lucas's outing?
One of the things that we were talking about in the pregame about his previous 2 starts so far this season was how efficient he was with his pitches, especially getting ahead early in the count. And it looked like the Atlanta Braves used that as part of their game plan coming into today, because they were aggressive early in the count and they were driving extra base hits out of the ballpark, including a couple of home runs off of the bat of Austin Riley. All of these first pitch swinging in the at-bat, whether they're sliders, whether they're 4-seam fastballs, they were being very aggressive early in the count to try to get on the board early, and that's how the score got out of hand very quickly against Easton Lucas. A very different look with him on the mound today than what we saw the previous 2 starts.
Kevin Gausman on the hill tomorrow night looking for different results. We're back to the Rogers Center right after this.
And booked. Plus, we got free checked bags with my TD Aeroplan Visa Infinite card.
Everything's better when you save on a vacation.
More like a save-cation. That's good. Oh, yeah.
TD. Ready for you.
When you live with diabetes, confidence comes from knowing your glucose levels and where they're headed. Manage your diabetes with confidence with Dexcom G7.
Oh, don't you know, tomorrow night is Looney Dogs night here at Rogers Center. See the Blue Jays take on the Braves again and get your hot dogs for just $1. For tickets, visit bluejays.com/promotions. Schneider's Porch. That's where a lot of the hot dogs are consumed. They're counted out there. Kevin Gausman on the mound tomorrow night. Yariel Rodriguez, Joe, on the mound right now.
7th game of the season for Yariel, and he came in and hit a batter, but then recorded a couple of outs Saturday at Baltimore. A good fastball will be up around 96 miles per hour. He'll also use the sinker, but then the slider and the split. Trying to get back into some sort of groove where he's a little bit more consistent with his stuff, and it's tough when you're fighting the role that he's been in. Whether it's an inning or two here and there, very sporadic. We've seen him up in the bullpen, not today, but in several other outings of his. I've noticed he's been throwing in the bullpen before that, and then he'd get up again later. And I wonder if this is still that transition to kind of finding out who he is and the role that he's playing.
Yeah, it's hard to say. Keeping him stretched out a little bit, or sometimes maybe they get, Buck talked about this on the road trip, they get to a point of the game where they don't think they need him that night. The starters threw 5 or whatever, but they don't want him to sit idly for too long. Got to keep that arm stretched out. Line drive to left, right, it roaded. Matt Olson retired. But you're right, it's kind of the role is in flux right now. And listen, if you're that guy, you just take the innings where you can get them, and right now he's that guy. So,
and the results will dictate when and how often you pitch. Let's have to get more consistency before he sees that higher leverage.
Sean Murphy 1 for 3, 2-run home run in the first. 97, but high, ball 1. '97 again, but outside, ball 2. A lot of baseball to be played this season, so I don't think anybody on the Atlanta side is panicking about a 4-11 start. So Orlando Arcia on the left along with Albies. That hit him. It did. Yeah, Rodriguez hit a batter his last appearance as well, and he'll put Murphy on.
I don't think any team, especially with a manager like Brian Snitker, is going to panic early. Of course, the record, they wished it was better, but it didn't start well for them. They started the season out on the West Coast and lost 7 straight games, 4 in San Diego and 3 in LA against the Dodgers. They scored just 14 runs in those games, so not the start they were after, but he knows as well as anyone it is a marathon season. Last thing they need is another injury to Murphy.
Yeah, he just came back about a week ago. He's their #1 catcher. Now the DH, Brian De La Cruz, who's 0 for 3. And a breaking ball in for a strike, 0-1. Slider again, swung on and missed, 0-2. The stuff's good enough to get outs in the zone.
Yeah, I still think that slider you want a little bit more down in a way. That kind of floated at the top, even though it was on the outer third.
Not throwing as many different pitches now that he's in relief, right?
Yeah, and you see he changed his arm angle a little bit there. Maybe try to go a little harder with it, just to give that hitter a different look. Try to get the chase with 2 strikes.
Skied to very shallow right field. And Lucas is in to make the catch, 2 down. You can see Murphy is still feeling it, and you can understand why. That got him pretty good. Here's Michael Harris II, the center fielder. Fastball in. Nobody up in the Atlanta pen, so Grant Holmes is going to come out for the bottom of the 8th. He's allowed just one hit, the straw home run. He's thrown 77 pitches. Pretty good effort from your spot starter guy, your fill-in guy.
Well, I think if he had been a little bit more effective in his last 2 starts, he could have gone a little bit deeper, but it took him over 100 pitches to get through 4 innings in that last start against the Phillies, but far more efficient this evening.
Ground ball to the right side, to his left. Jimenez on to first, and it's a scoreless inning for Yariel Rodriguez. Going bottom 8 here at the ballpark.
At Wayfair, we get pretty excited about furniture. Around here, it's not a patio, it's patio.
Oh, I love those chairs.
Shed-tastic.
This rocks.
My queen.
Yeah?
Oh, I'm at the bed.
Girl, you nailed it!
No, this set, it's just a couple of screws.
They're a perfect combo. They got a fire pit.
Wayfair, every style, every home.
Our daddy was an evil man. Love you too. He passed that evil down to us. I ain't never saw no demons, no ghosts, no magic.
We gonna kill every last one of you.
Open the door, it's me.
This can't be real.
Let me out of this room, Smoke.
That ain't your brother.
Sinners. Only in theaters Friday.
Choose joy. Choose the road. Choose to get out there. Choose to make memories. Choose your calling. Choose to go for it. Just choose. Mazda, we craft cars for those who choose to do more than simply move.
More baseball coming your way on Sportsnet 1 a little bit later tonight. Barely an hour from now, the Rockies are in L.A. to take on the Los Angeles Dodgers. Dustin May is on the mound for the Dodgers, a guy who has battled so many injuries. But if you've never seen him, and I'm sure most people have, but if you've never seen him, I mean, the raw stuff is outrageous. And you think this guy's got hair. Dustin May is all arms and legs and hair and stuff. The stuff is incredible. He's even if you're just a casual baseball fan, he's fun to watch.
And he's coming at you with triple digits at times, right?
And again, a guy who's just been decimated by injuries over the years, but he's in the rotation right now. The Dodgers are already thin in the rotation. They've already had some issues, but May is healthy right now.
Somebody asked me about the Dodgers the other day, are you concerned about the Dodgers? And I was like, I think the regular season is like exhibition for the Dodgers. I think all they do is play for October. Now, of course, you got to get there, but I don't think they're too concerned.
They're not ramping up Shohei Ohtani to pitch with any urgency at all, and I think for the reason that you said, they kind of know they're going to be in it and be there, and they just want to have him at his best come October. Clement hits it hard, but right at Austin Riley.
Another good at-bat after that good day for Ernie yesterday. He's right on this pitch. He smokes it right at the third baseman.
So one down in the bottom of the 8th, and now here's Alan Roden, who's 0 for 2. That's a good cutter.
Yeah, that's exactly what you want in a cutter. If anything, maybe a little bit higher, but Just start it in there and you try to get the swing, and as they go to swing, it runs in on the barrel or on the label of the bat.
You could break some bats with this guy.
Yes, sir.
That's the four-seamer, missed just inside, 2-1.
And this is what I mean. He's been doing the left-handers tonight. He's been coming in there with the four-seamer and the cutter, and then he'll throw the slow stuff away, the breaking balls, and get some weak contact.
Slider down and in, 3-1. If he gets through this inning quickly, I mean, he might have a chance to complete the game here tonight. He's only at 84. There's nobody up in the pen now. Walt Weiss, the bench coach, alongside Brian Snitker. That is a fair ball down the line. Rodin went after a pitch about 6 inches off the outside corner, and he's got himself a base hit.
Well, it's not ideal, but Alan Rodin will take it. If you can dribble one down the line, watch where this pitch ends up. I mean, you want to talk about being in swing mode, and it looked like it had some run on it. It was running away from him, but really nowhere near. But you get a 3-1 count, and you feel it pretty aggressive. You want to try to put a good swing on something. You just expanded the zone and got rewarded.
Now Miles Straw, responsible for the only Blue Jay run tonight with a home run his last time up. You saw that 385 average. That is 10 for 26 for Straw. Yesterday had a couple of hits, a couple of RBIs. Remember that ground ball up the third baseline that drove in the run in the top of the 10th that stood up as the winner. He got a sacrifice down as well. That's a 2-strike swing right there, isn't it?
Staying alive. Well, because of his speed too, it plays such an integral role. He can always pinch run late and try to steal a base late in the ball game to help you win. You know what he can do in center field, and then you can drop a bunt down. So all of those little intangibles, and then now he finds a little power stroke tonight.
Ball one.
And that's another thing he does well. He's not going to expand the zone a whole lot. Give you a tough AB and put it in play.
Lays off again.
That's Grant Holmes' MO against these right-handed batters, but Straw's not biting.
And now for the first time tonight, some activity in the Atlanta pen. Left-hander Aaron Bummer is up. A full count on Straw. And ball 4. Boy, he took some pitches after being in the hole 0-2, and the Blue Jays have a couple of men on.
Rogers Xfinity. Game-changing internet. Stream, share, and score big with Canada's most reliable internet.
As he has said, and the team has said often, he is staying home. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. says, I was born in this country. I consider Canada my second home. There is nowhere else I wanted to be. He's not having his the most fun he's ever had here tonight because the Blue Jays are on the wrong end of an 8-1 game. In the dugout right now alongside one of his new teammates and Anthony Santander. Blue Jays have a couple of men on as they're trying to put a little bit of heat on the Braves here. Nathan Lucas will be the batter.
What you want to do in games like this when you're down by so much is you want to chase this starter to get into the Atlanta bullpen in game 1 of a series, and the Blue Jays just have not been able to chase Grant Holmes. Now he's on the end of his leash here, of course, but Brian Snitker not going to have to use many relievers.
Rodin at second, Straw at first with 1 out. And Lucas went after one. 0-1. Bouncer towards second. They'll get Straw at second, but that's all. It'll be a fielder's choice for Lucas. First and third, 2 down. So it'll be up to Tyler Heineman to try to get something across. But first, it's going to be a pitching change, it looks like. Brian Snitker, the manager of the Braves, there's the call. And they will turn Heineman around by bringing the left-hander Aaron Bummer into the game. Boy, from an Atlanta perspective, what an outstanding performance by Grant Holmes.
A lot more than Brian Snitker thought he was going to get from his right-hander, but he'll finally have to go to the pen.
Enter Night Mode.
It's a stylish Friday night in the city.
Every Friday home game.
No doubter.
When we celebrate everything that makes our city one of a kind. When you always feel like part of the show. On Friday, April 18th, be at the ballpark early and get your Blue Jays City Connect Bomber Jacket giveaway presented by Enercare. The first 50,000 fans will be geared up for spring nights in the city. City Connect Fridays. Night Mode. Lights up, let's go. For tickets, visit BlueJays.com.
Your best defense against erosion and cavities is strong enamel. Nothing beats it. Pro-Enamel Active Shield actively strengthens the enamel to defend against erosion and cavities. I think that this product is a game changer for my patients. It really works.
Here's to those who build Canadian, like Kevin, who turned to his local home hardware to help design and build a tiny home away from home. And Siobhan, who asked her neighborhood store how to make her yard the envy of her neighbors. And Eric and Sasha, who brought their dream outdoor living space to life while it was still warm out. Whatever your home needs, we're here in over 1,000 communities across the country. Home hardware and building centers are proud to be locally owned and genuinely Canadian.
And booked. Plus, we got free checked bags with my TD Aeroplan Visa Infinite card.
Everything's better when you save on a vacation.
More like a savecation. That's good.
Oh, yeah.
TD. Ready for you.
Here's a one-of-a-kind collectible you won't want to miss. It is the Alejandro Kirk Bobble Arm. Be one of the first 15,000 fans on Wednesday, April 30th, when the Blue Jays take on the Red Sox. And you'll get one. Get your tickets today at bluejays.com/promotions. Left-hander Aaron Bummer in from the bullpen for Atlanta. 2 on, 2 out in the bottom of the 8th.
Just the 6th game for Bummer. He pitched a scoreless inning on Thursday. Did walk a couple. Turning Tyler Heineman around to a pretty strong side for this season.
Yeah, historically not his strong side, but this year it is. And the hits just keep on coming for Heineman. 1 run is home. Here comes Lucas on his way to the plate. How about Tyler Heineman? A 2-run double, and it's 8-3.
Always feels good to contribute offensively when you're that backup catcher that plays sparingly, but Tyler Heineman is finding a way every time he's in a ball game to impact it. He tees off on the first pitch. It's right out of the bullpen from Bummer, and he just tucks it inside that third base line into the corner. Carlos Fables does a nice job. He really waited a long time before he gave that final wave, because the third base coach, you're watching that ball down in the corner, you're watching what the left fielder is doing, and it was very late that he gave that final wave. Good read and reaction by the third base coach.
Top of the order now, Bo Bichette. Got tied up, down and in. It's 0-2. Heineman is now 10 for 22 on the season. And a swing and a miss. Bummer went down and in there with that breaking ball again to get Bichette. Heineman doubles in a couple, 8-3 at the end of 8.
That's uncomfortable.
Help is on the way with Leon's Price Cuts event. Get savings on everything comfortable for your home.
There you go. Soft upholstery.
Now that's comfortable.
When your back hurts, life hurts. Roback's dual action formula relieves pain and relaxes tight muscles. Take back your back with Robax.
There's nothing like that first Mercedes feeling.
If it's a boy, I like Crispin.
And I do not.
But we trust your judgment. What do you think?
You know, I think let's lock in a better offer than lock in a name.
Lock.
Get the advice you need
Lachlan.
for one of life's biggest decisions with RE/MAX.
It's an NHL doubleheader. First, Montreal hosts Carolina.
The push to the postseason continues.
Then, the Ducks are in top in Winnipeg.
And the Jets take flight.
The final Scotiabank Wednesday night hockey of the season on Sportsnet.
Fans, you can experience the vibe of the entire ballpark for just $20 with the Outfield District ticket. Offering general admission to ballpark access, countless ways to enjoy the game. Corona rooftop patio, Schneider's porch, 100-level drink rails. Visit BlueJays.com/outfield district to get yours today. Now the Blue Jays have cut into the deficit a little bit, but there's still a ways to go. It's 8-3 going to the 9th inning. Second inning of work for Yariel Rodriguez. Stuart Fairchild leads it off. 0 for 3. Slider outside.
Fairchild getting the start in right field with the lefty Lucas going tonight. We'll probably see Kalnick back out there tomorrow in a platoon.
Awkward swing at that one. 1-2. The Braves, by the way, also have Alex Verdugo at AAA. He was signed really late. Just nobody was offering him a major league deal. But after the suspension, the PED suspension of Profar, they signed Verdugo, and I don't think he's going to play in this series, but it sounds like he may be with the big club pretty soon to try to provide a little offense. They signed late. They signed Craig Kimbrell, James McCann, Alex Verdugo. They're all in Atlanta's organization right now. Just looking for depth, and
that's what injuries will do.
To center field, back goes Straw.
Miles can be pretty cool going after a ball in center field, and that's why when you have that speed, you can always recover, but very under control.
You know, everybody has a different opinion on this. Like, I think catcher's the most demanding position. Shortstop may be right up there as the most important position, but center field's really cool.
It's pretty important too.
It's very important. Like this one going to get down on a bounce. Jimenez got to hurry. The stretch by Guerrero. They get Allen. Like watching a guy who could really play center, run around and play center field, it to me is one of the best things about baseball.
And Blue Jays fans have been treated for a while. Go back to the Devo days. Of course, Kevin Pillar and Kevin Kiermaier.
Think of how differently all three of those guys played center field too, right?
And then now we're seeing Varsho and this year Miles Straw.
2 down for Eli White. Outside, ball 1.
Eli White, another one. Not many starts, but you get an opportunity to start. You try to do something to impress your manager. Get back out there. Doubled and walked and scored a couple runs tonight. Been used predominantly as a defensive replacement. You come in late. These are the at-bats, though. When you're a bench player, these mean a lot to you. It's not 8-3 for him right now. He's doing everything he can to get himself another knock.
Good location with that fastball. Swung on and missed. 1-2. Terrific outing tonight by Grant Holmes. That was George Poulos alongside him, a trainer for the Braves, longtime former trainer for the Blue Jays. White strikes out, and it's on to the bottom of the ninth.
In hockey, only one name transcends the game. It's not Gordy, the great one, or the great eight. Not a Bobby or a Bob. Not Sid the Kid or this kid either. And it's not Connor, and no, not even that Connor. The one name that rises above all others is Stanley.
Lord Stanley.
Introducing Burger King's new fiery menu. Taste our mild fiery strawberry and Sprite, our medium fiery chicken fries, or our signature fiery bacon Whopper. Turn up the heat. The all-new fiery menu is here.
During the Ford It's a Big Deal event, we asked the tough questions. Like, what if an offer on an F-150 looked as good as an F-150? Right now, get a big deal when you lease this F-150 for $110 a week. This deal won't last forever.
Hey, it's Ken and Ivanka. We have Sportsnet Central after the game. Big day in Blue Jays land.
Yes.
Vladdy officially signs his deal. Hazel May, great sit-down interview with Guerrero. We have that come up. And guess what I'm going to tell you?
What?
I'm going to tell you what Vladdy Guerrero Jr. and my dad, Dr. Dan, have in common.
Ooh, that's a big tease. Want to hear that? Plus, the Habs can lock up a playoff spot tonight with a win over Chicago, and young Ivan Demidov making a big impact in his NHL debut. That's all coming up. We'll send things back to the Rogers Center.
Guys, thank you, and we are back tomorrow night. Game 2 of the series. It begins with Blue Jays Central at 6:30 Eastern Time. Spencer Schwellenbach for the Atlanta Braves. He's got an 0.45 ERA through 3 starts. Kevin Gausman for the Blue Jays. Down by 5, 3 outs to go, bottom 9. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. 0 for 3. Didn't get it all. And Vladdy 0 for 4. So the day started off with, I mean, really a day that very few people ever anywhere have experienced, you know, surrounded by family and friends and signing the mega contract. And what an enormous day for Guerrero and his future and the future with his organization. Like he had a little info for Andres Jimenez there on what he is seeing from Aaron Bummer. The night not ending the way that Vladdy wanted to, but he'll get back after it tomorrow. Santander 0 for 3. The top 3 in the order are hitless tonight. In fact, the Blue Jays only have 3 hits. Straw has homered, Rodin has singled, and Heineman has a 2-run double. This is well hit down the right field line, and that's going to get down up against the wall on a bounce. Santander into second, just ahead of the throw.
Third double for Santander as he shoots this into the right field corner. Stays on that pitch very well. He told me he is a right-handed batter. He's a switch hitter, but from the right side, he is a naturally right-hand dominant guy, so he has a better job handling the ball up, but he covers that pitch down in the zone, driving it. Curveball down with that top hand.
Now Bummer starts Andres Jimenez with a breaking ball for a strike. Jimenez 0 for 2 with a walk. Jimenez will fight it off. Well, you talked about sometimes all you can hope for is force them to use somebody that, so then maybe they can't use them the next day or the day after. And that's the Atlanta closer, Raisel Iglesias. And he hasn't done a whole lot. But he's just getting out and starting the soft toss just in case the Blue Jays get a couple more men on.
Another base runner or two would be big for the Blue Jays, not to win this game, but to hopefully make them use their closer and spend them for the next 2 days.
Jimenez hits a 2-hopper to Albies. 2 down with Santander coming to third. And the Blue Jays are down to their final out on a night where Grant Holmes was the story of the ballgame.
He was very good, especially coming off a couple of starts where walks were a big issue for him. He seemed to really come inside a lot on the left-handed hitters with the four-seamer and the cutter. Then he was the soft stuff, the breaking stuff away, a lot of soft contact. And with the righties, it was basically everything away. The four-seamer, but the slider was a great pitch for him.
I guess Austin Riley deserves top billing as well as the co-star along with. You had 2 home runs driving 5. That's a big part of the offense. That's the margin right now.
And that line for Holmes looks much better if Bummer doesn't come in and give up that 2-run double to Heineman.
Right.
So really an outstanding night for the Braves right-hander.
And now the Blue Jays down to their final strike. 0-2 on Ernie Clement. And Clement fights off another one. You talked about Eli White not getting a chance to play all that much and what every at-bat means. I think if Ernie's played once in the last week or every day in the last week, he's still got that same attitude about making the most of every at-bat.
Yeah, and that's what you have to do, especially when you're in and out of the lineup, and Ernie's trying to earn more playing time. Of course, played a lot of third base last year. We've seen Will Wagner over there a little bit, but there's a quiet little competition going on too, because we know what the rule is. If you hit, there's a better chance you're going to get in the lineup a little bit more often, and Ernie had a big day yesterday and he's back in there today.
This one into left field, and that's down for a base hit. Santander in to score, and the RBI single makes it 8-4.
Well, that's exactly what we're talking about. Brian Snitker wondering when he does go to his closer, but it might even be just to get him heating up in the bullpen and throwing hard. Maybe he gets a workload down there. Anything you can do. So nice job by Clement getting to that pitch and lining it into left.
So now Alan Roden will try to extend the ball game. Roden 1 for 3, had an opposite field base hit his last time up. Big sweeping breaking ball there, fouled off, and again the Blue Jays are down to their final strike.
Interesting with a couple of right-handed bats on the bench that John Schneider has chosen to give Roden this at bat, and I like it. Give him an opportunity against a lefty.
There goes Clement. They're not worried about him. Roden fouls it off.
It also tells me that they're trying to find out a little bit more about Alan Roden.
Yep.
These are the situations. If you are going to be an everyday player in the big leagues as a left-handed hitter, you're going to have to handle yourself against lefties as well. And I think the Blue Jays are still trying to find out a lot about Roden.
He's looking for his first hit in the big leagues off a lefty. There goes Clement again, and they'll give him second on defensive indifference.
Three straight breaking balls and then the elevated fastball, and as a left-hand hitter you have to be thinking that breaker. I think you give up on the fastball, you give into that and just play the sweeper away.
Popped up back of third, foul territory, and Driving up into the net is Riley, but the ball hit the net before he caught it, so that's no play. Those nets almost give the player a little more safety and security, generally, not always, but
jump
you can
right into it,
jump
right?
into it, and you're hopefully, if nothing goes wrong, you'll just kind of bounce back. But
I still think Allen's got to stay on that breaking ball. If he throws a great fastball in the inner half, you tip your cap.
Fastball, and he got him swinging to end the ball game. So Atlanta gets it to go in early. They hit 3 home runs. Murphy with 1, Riley with 2. Grant Holmes a very strong night. The Blue Jays make some noise towards the end of the game, but they still come up short, lose 8-4.
And what do you do after a loss like this? You have to go get him tomorrow, and there's no better way to do that than put Kevin Gausman on the mound. But the other side has a pretty good one going as well, and Spencer Schwellenbach should be a very good pitching matchup.